Hello, lovies. How are we? Can you hear me? Am I here? Plus or minus 3 minutes per Larry Legend for Nurse Kim to figure out her microphone. Oh, Cursey Nursey M coming in hot with a wow, punctual Nurse Kim. And the hits keep on coming this Tuesday. Loving it. Thank you for being you. Oh, we've got sound. You can hear me. Hi, Lulu Bell and Cindy B. Thank you for letting me know that I am good. I appreciate it. And we've got Jen O saying, Christina, hey, girl. Hey, Christina. I love it. Oh, Kelly Garcia is here. Hey, lovies. Hi, lovey Kelly. All right. Listen to me. We've got things to talk about. Oop, just kidding. I need to say hi to Beatrice, my homegirl. And let's do this because guess what? You know, I hashtag can't stop, won't stop.
I be looking fresh with them fed watching. I be looking fresh with them fed watching. I be looking fresh with them fed watching. New whip, yeah. Two dogs, Toto.
Love it. Obsessed. I feel that song in my bones. Why? Because I be looking fresh when them feds watching. Toto. Okay? So babes, happy new week. We're Tuesday strong here, and may the force be with you and also with you. Now, there has been some things going on in the atmosphere, and it's not Toros. Okay, this isn't Bring It On, but there has been a interview of Katt Williams, who may be an oracle at this point. I'm not 100% sure, but he said some things that moved my spirit, and I wanted to move your spirit as well. Because when I take things from like long form podcasts or interviews, specifically that are like comedic ones, but have so much truth in them, like I'm obsessed. In January of 2024, Katt Williams went on Shannon Sharp's podcast and he hit people with truth bombs. And it was like way before the Diddy stuff all came out, but he was calling it. He was saying that the devil's playground, you know where it is and how to protect yourself from it. So I always feel better when I have watched him. And like I said, he was on with Theo Vaughn, and Theo is great. He's like otherworldly and funny and one of one too. Like, so I got a lot of joy out of that. Then there was another case that Melanie, our queen, Melanie Little, has been covering out of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, out of Norfolk County. And who's the judge? I'll give you one guess. It's Judge Beverly Cannoni. And this case, guys, is like right up my alley. It's horrendous. There was a man who was 66 years old. His name was Andrew. Let me make sure I say his last name correctly. Sevitz. Am I correct on that? Andrew, what's your last name, good sir? Yeah, I think so. And Savitz, Savitz, Savitz. So he was a 66-year-old male. He was married to Penny McGee, and Penny was getting like evicted from her house. We're going to go into this, but he ends up having a cardiac event. He ends up having a fatal dysrhythmia. And this fatal dysrhythmia, guys, has been like blamed on Penny, the ex-wife. But like at a cellular level, all you're seeing is clogged arteries, arterial sclerosis, and you're seeing plaque buildup in coronary arteries. You're also seeing diabetes and other comorbidities. But there was because they had this argument, she is being charged of manslaughter of this man's life, her ex-husband, and it is huge. She decided not to have a jury trial. She decided to go with a Judge Beverly Cannoni bench trial. So let's pray. Let us pray on that. But the medical examiner who conducted this got on the stand, and her testimony was so egregious. It was so out of pocket, in my opinion. And she was assigning the perception of a victim, the perception of a patient in their emotional state that resulted in his tragic loss of life. And it's like nothing I can ever recall or have heard about. So I had some cursey nursey takes on it, right? Cursey nursey M. And I wanted to just go over that with you. And then we have I have big news additionally, babes, because apparently your girl is booked and busy. It's my eldest daughter's birthday tomorrow. She is going to be 15 tomorrow. I have a 14-year-old and a 15-year-old. Stop it. We are doing things over the weekend, but tomorrow we are going out to an early bird supper because that's what I like. Okay? If I could have dinner and a supper by 5:30 p.m., I'm living my best life. Okay? And then afterwards, I'm scheduled to have the one and only Meredith O'Neill on. And then Thursday, I've got a surprise I'm going to tell you at the end. Who's my surprise guest on Thursday? Clutch your pearls, clench your butts. It's going to be incredible. And then next week I have a special guest too. So I don't know who she is. All right, no one. Okay, she's just a little weirdo on the World Wide Web, but I'm excited. So let's get into Katt Williams and have him tell us about 2025, Katt, because you're the man. Oh, be kinder than necessary says, I am floored by this case. We have so many nurses in our chat, like that are with us, that I'm very interested to see you guys' take on this as well, because I was in Melanie's chat losing my proverbial marbles. Okay. I was unwell. And the petty paralegal, my sister, says, woohoo, happy birthday, little Lovey. She is the littlest Lovey, my firstborn. Oh, how did I become a mom 15 years ago? That's wild. And that makes me old. And then, we have Nurse Corky says, yes, I love your EKG, your rhythm, babe. Oh, and Cindy B says that they wanted to jump through the screen. Agreed. Totally. And your baby is almost 14. Oh my gosh, I know. And I should know this because they're my niece or nephew. Okay, so now, and I'm sorry, 13 Kings, my favorite nurse, Nurse Kim. Don't say it. We have too many beautiful, talented, incredible nurses in the chat, but wink, I know it now. Okay, so let's tuck and roll, babes. So Katt Williams gets on with Theo Vaughn. He's Theo Vaughning. Theo is like so nervous. He was so cute. I wanted to like hug him through the phone. And he was just asking these questions and they came out like very organically. It was great. Go watch it on Theo's. But he said that there is a connection that is felt between certain people. And like when you see people on the screen that you feel like, like sometimes people say like, oh, Kim, I feel like I know you, and I always take that very complimentary, or like that you do know me because it's me, babe. Like I FaceTime and you answer. And I'm so thankful for you to do that. And he said that that's legit because when people see either Theo or Katt, like they're the same and they're the same exact people all the time. And like I am just me, and it's not for everybody, right? Like you can't be perfect. You can't be somebody that everybody is going to like. Very difficult for a people pleaser. But once you get that through your thick skull, you're able to say like, hey, the people that are around me are the people that I would want to have around me. And I thought that that was quite profound. Then he says, this one was just mouth jaw dropping for me. He said that excellence is difficult and being mediocre, there's no pressure. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's amen hallelujah to that one, babes. Right? Like, so for all of us that are trying and like, no matter what it is we're doing in life, whether we're being parents, whether it is our careers, whether it is that we're trying to work on our relationships with our partners, our husbands and wives, we are trying to be excellent at it, right? And there's no pressure when you're half-assing through life. And when we put that pressure on ourselves to try to be the best that we can, and listen, we're going to fail. We're not going to be perfect. There are times that even your 110% isn't good enough in certain circumstances, but darn, that really, like, I felt it deeply for him to say, we trying to reach that excellence, try to get to that next level, always wanting better for your families, wanting better than maybe what you saw when you were growing up in relationships. Those are all things to strive for. And that was a way that it connected in my brain that I had never thought about before. And I thought it was pretty awesome. Now, I think I clipped that one too. I did a little scoobity bebop. Let's see what
How
this one
much
is.
happened to you that should have broke you, that did not break you, so that you were able to then fucking ride. Amen. Amen.
Oh, that was the next one. So I thought that that was like applicable for Karen. And I thought it was applicable in our lives, babes. Like, right? Like we sit here and every story that you tell yourself every day about you is one that matters. How we talk to ourselves matters. And I know for myself for a long time, I've always been like, I talk down to myself and I say, like, oh, you sucked at this. You could have done better at this. You need to improve on this. But very rarely do I take the opportunities to say, like, from how you grew up and the circumstances in which you were surrounded, right? And with parents that struggled with things, and I had a very strong constant in my nana, and it was always that I wanted to make everybody proud. And the fact that I was able to go on and like first was an LPN. I was as my dad would say, a little pretty nurse. And then I went back 5 years later and became an RN. And then I went and got my wound certifications, my regular wound certification, and then I went and got my diabetic wound certification courses, and then I went back and got a legal nurse consultant. And it's like all of these things that like maybe I would someday want to go back and become a nurse practitioner. But I have to look at all the adversities that we faced, right? And that story is unique to you. You are one of one. And if you tell yourself that you went through all of these challenges and you still ended up here today, like that's a miracle, babes. You're miraculous. And have that grace for yourself like you would your best friend. Like when you're hyping up your girls and you're like, yes, you got this, queen. You don't deserve anything less. I think that that's where I've tried to like shift my mindset in 2025 is let's not look at where I have not risen to a level that I think I should be, right? Like, as a parent, as a nurse, as a friend, wife, all the things. And instead try to give yourself some grace. And I just thought that it was huge. And to go back to that specific soundbite, think about that for Karen. that every single thing that was put in her way and every single challenge she has faced, whether it be with her immediately after on January 29th, having to go to get a section at Good Samaritan Hospital, getting out of there, going back to One Meadow and not feeling welcome. And then you grab your things and you go back to your parents' house. And then just a couple of hours later, you lost someone you loved in a traumatic way. You found them in a position that you would never want to see even your worst enemy. And you see the man you loved. Then they come, they take your vehicle, they seize your vehicle, and oh shit, like they're coming for me now. And then to be charged with what you are, then you have an increase in charges. You know that the investigation into Officer John O'Keefe's death was not conducted. It was this is the route we're going, and damn if anything else shows us a different path to go down. But Karen was able to rally with the love of her family, her friends. And then through osmosis and through the reporting of Turtle Boy initially, and then all the other amazing people who we've met along the way who have come and said, no, that doesn't make sense to me. Nope, you're not going to sell me that bill of goods, And then she goes through trial 1 and she is returned a verdict of a hung jury. That was the one thing, guys, that she was not prepared for. She was prepared for clink, clink, send me up the river. Or she was prepared for I'm going to be let free and I'm going to be able to finally grieve, finally process, and finally be able to move forward. The one thing she didn't calculate was having to do this a second time. And as we gear up, it is now February 4th, 2025. We're less than 2 months away from trial. She needs all of us to put on our armor, all of us to rally, send that positive energy. And always, she is going to remember this.
How much happened to you that should have broke you, that did not break you, so that you were able to then fucking ride. Amen. Amen.
Amen. And then
I pray underwater, like, because, evil can't access you underwater,
Oh, that's interesting.
A lot of people don't know.
Is that true?
Yeah. And
maybe that's why a child is an amniotic fluid, huh?
I loved that. I loved that. So ever since I was little, I've loved to swim. I've been like a tiny little water baby. Okay, find me where? West Dennis, in the water at my Nana's beach house. Go into the YMCA. I was a swimmer. Stop it. There was a time between like 11 and 12 that I looked like a tiny little whale. Okay. I was free and willy. Don't judge me. But in that Speedo, babe, put me in. I could do a 200 meter butterfly like it was going out of style. I won a medal. I don't know who you think you're talking to. 12-year-old medal. It happened. So I've always been very like comfortable in the water, and I've always felt like, I don't know, like safe, even though it's like very scary. And if you think about like the Titanic, or you think about the unknown of like what is at the bottom of the ocean, we only know like what 10% or 15% of what lives under the water and like on the ocean floor. Terrifying. But Katt goes on to say that like he believes eventually the like water will end up being like a centennial being. And I've always been very calm when I'm in the water. Okay. So I'm going to start I'm going to give it a whirl. Let's go do swim aerobics. I don't know. Let's hook up with a 74-year-old named Ruth and go do water aerobics. I'm in. Then I'll just dunk my little head under. I'll say, God is good. Then I'll come back up all the time. And we can just I don't know, think about jazzercise in the water. But I thought that was a super cool point to take. And then the last one.
I read the Bible first. That's 66 books.
66 books of the Bible. That was the first book that Katt Williams read. And of course, babes, do you this isn't a God stream, but my personal relationship with God is always just that I want to foster a relationship, because he did also say that your closeness to God helps you make choices that scare you. And that I suffer with anxiety, terrible anxiety. I'm riddled, babes, riddled. So when Karen was making phone calls at 4:00 in the morning and saying, or, for whatever it was, and saying, I think John is unalive and he got hit by a plow, I go, that makes sense. Because if I don't hear from my teenage daughter, or if I don't hear from Mr. Nurse Kim, my first thought is always they are unalive in a ditch somewhere. I've said that since day one. Now, am I abnormal? Hell yeah. Yeah. Yep. Put a little feather in her cap. She's a wackadoo. But that is just how I respond to things. I think if I can't get a hold of you, that something has radically wrong happened to you. Okay. Go to therapy. I know. But so anyway, he just was saying also that you should always be able to depend on God and yourself, and others may try to bring you down, but you will always be able to count on yourself and count on God. And it moved me. So I wanted to tell you, don't take it with a grain of salt, but I just, that was a incredible interview that I got to watch. And like I said, again, I was like, oh my God, I would love to interview Katt Williams someday. Also, crazy thought. But could you imagine? Stop it. No. Okay. So that was it. That was my cat story. And now let's see. Did anybody? Oh, people were talking and I was in the wrong area. I apologize, everyone. As usual, I was not looking in the correct technology place. Oh, hi, Midi. And we've got a holy cannoli. We do have a holy cannoli, and I love them. And Krista says, but isn't that normal? Because that's how I think too. No, babe, we're a little touched by an angel, okay? We're a little bit hyper aware and or hyper, worst case scenario. But that's just the way that my brain is wired. Oh, and Jeff says, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Jeff. Oh, and Crisco, hey. Hi, Lovey. How are you? Oh, this is big. This is huge. Here it is. Hippie Chick, aka Mav, says Katt just bought Fort McClellan in Anniston, Alabama to start a movie studio. Yeah, he did. He said he actually bought it a couple of years ago, but it just ended up showing up to this incredible place. And he was like, oh, it just came on realtor.com, but I'm going to make movies. I'm going to do everything that I can in order for me to make comedy come back, to bring joy to people, because he doesn't want people to be the human condition, right? Is a dichotomy, right? So we have joy and we have sorrow, but there has been a lot of sorrow and a lot of sadness. So let's bring some joy to people, okay? And I think that each of us can do that by being kind to each other and just doing the best job that we can, and babes, trust you me. I'm the first to know I fall short of that regularly. But I do, with everything in my heart and soul, I try to make a difference and try to be a good person to all. And that's all we can do. Okay. So, oh, mama's bucks. Look at her. Oh, dear God. Well, this is just, okay, we're going to have to end, guys, because this is overwhelming. Lawfario, this is Nan, everybody. This is Nan Gallagher. She's an incredible attorney. She is an incredible human. She has been giving some takes and opinion on the Karen Reed case to Mr. Mike Crawford, our friend at the Young Jerks. And also she did a show with Brian and from LTL Media, and it was incredible. It is so refreshing to have another beautiful woman in the space who is giving their candor and who is saying things that are able to be digested by us as humans who don't have law degrees. We're not that. So that is the special announcement too that I wanted to tell at the end of the show. But Nan is here right this second, and I know that she is very busy. So Nan has graced me with confirming and saying that she would be able to show up with me on Thursday evening at 7 o'clock on February 6th. We are going to do a review of what happens at court on Thursday. And then we were going to talk about the medical examiner findings of Dr. Scorty Bello along with Renee Stonebridge. And I was going to ask her, as that is her specialty. And Nan, I could actually vomit. I could throw up and die because that is beyond generous, and I am not worthy. So I always say to people, please, you just have to wait till next month and I can give it right back to you. Like I'm just a Kim. I am just a Kim that is, just a mom and a nurse. And I am just so thankful for all of you to answer me and to hang out with me and spend your valuable time with me. So I'm going to keep showing up, and that means so much to me. I can't even express to you. And Love a Romy with cheese says, I love you so much, Kimmy. I'm saying, I love you so much, Romy, right back. Stop it, guys. Stop. Oh, and my favorite daughter, Mary Malarkey, I'm sending you flowers on Mother's Day. You know this. My favorite nurse and favorite daughter, bringing in the guests in 2025. Let's friggin' go, ladies. Yes. And Mary, you'll have to be on too. And Jen Lee 143 said, I miss the two-handed nurse Kim. Can this go to a new mic? Yes. Hands down, eyes up, finish the test. Are you kidding me? Are you joking? How long? Somebody end me. Oh my Lord. Guys, she's muted. Did you hear nothing? Did we hear nothing? I'm done. This is why she should not have technology. It is potentially a playground. I am not worthy. Oh, okay. Not a thing. Not a thing. Okay. Let us go back. Let us go back and let us say to everyone, because I am unwell now, send me away. Send me up the river. I need to go to Tewksbury State. It might be a grippy sock vacation time. From the bottom. Oh, thank you to Catastrophe. Kate says, you're muted. Oh, Meatball Morrissey. Hit me with a, you are muted. Thank you. Oh, Carrie Ann says, so happy to finally catch a live. Hi, Carrie Ann. I don't know how to work a microphone to save my damn soul. Okay. Just put it down, pick it back up, lose your mind, and never be free again. I said some beautiful things about Nan, and I said that I am not worthy and that I would be able to return this to you next month, Nan. Okay? I am so sorry that I am a little bit of still an amateur and not able to figure out how to use my microphone appropriately. So I will keep showing up, and I'm so excited. Guys, I announced, I don't know, did you hear that? Did you hear that I announced that I would be able to, I secured a spot with the one, the only Nan. Okay. And that is that's Thursday, this Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are going to go over the court appearance that is scheduled for Thursday. And we are going to talk about Irene Scorti-Bello, and we're going to go over Dr. Renee Stonebridge, both of their testimony. Oh, it was after the microphone. Amazing for Only Nan. Okay, it was after that. She's coming back to life. This is why. Oh, look it. Ready? This is what we'll just do. We'll do a little.
I'll be looking fresh with them feds watching. I'll be looking fresh with them feds watching. I'll be looking fresh with them feds watching. New whip, yeah. Dogs, Toto.
Oh, don't let Kim touch the mic when it is down. When it is up, don't touch it again. And I'll be looking fresh when the feds watching. Okay. So back, sorry, babes. I really apologize. I just wanted to go to Mr. Meatball Morrissey's Sketty stain. Okay. On the brain, got that Sketty stain. Hi, Nurse Kim. Did you receive my birthday gift from me? I sent it to Auntie Deb 2 weeks ago. No, I haven't, babe, because Jimmy is a dramatic gay bitch and steals my shit. No, I'm just kidding. But I haven't seen Jimmy IRL in over 2 weeks. So the next time he did mention, but he won't like tell me anything. So I am going to say, I need to know what is in a birthday gift, which is so kind. And I am, again, not worthy to receive that either, but thank you so much. And to Meredith O'Neill, our Queen Meredith says, happy early birthday to my daughter, Mia. Oh, and Nurse Kim, thank you so much for hosting the kiddies and me tomorrow night, babes. We are doing 7:30 p.m. triplets half birthday stream. I set up a thumbnail on the YouTubes, and in that description of the kiddie stream, the triplets half birthday, if you will, there is the Karen Reed Defense Fund. And if anybody is still interested or wants to donate either $3 for the triplets or $6, or any denomination of your choice, that Meredith will be reading every single message. And that message may have something to do with a dish rag, a formerly known towel, a wet wipe, if you will. Maybe you know him. Talk about it in the chat. So 7:30 p.m. tomorrow at my house, we have Meredith. Then at 7 p.m. on Thursday, we are having the only Nan. Manifestation is a destination. Okay. And then to D Nice, RN, coming in hot with becoming a YouTube member consensually to Nurse Kim's channel. Woohoo! Woo! Okay. Who is she? Now we're talking Lynn Rowland. This is why Mariah Cheyenne knows this. Okay. Mariah Cheyenne says, this is why you need to hold the mic so that I don't touch things, babes. Yes, it's happening. But I am going to put it down now because I was asked. Okay. No, 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 no. I'm not touching anything ever again. That's it. I'm not putting it down. This is unreal. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. All right. Listen, I'm putting it down and I'm not touching the back. It's the back. That's what happens. Okay, no back touching. Okay. So listen, we've got Penny. Penny McGee was a 58-year-old mother of 3. She was from Brookline. Now, babes, who did we know that was from Brookline? Rich people, yuppie moms. Okay. Very, very upper class. I got 2 Newton cousins and a Belmont cousin. Oh, bitch. And we were like wrong side of tracks because we grew up in Waltham. But now Waltham is like yuppie too. But back in the olden days, wasn't so much. Now, I never knew that Brookline was part of Norfolk County. Put a 1 in the chat if you knew that Brookline was part of Norfolk County, or a 2 if you were like, absolutely not. I had no idea. Because I'm very interested to see what Judge Cannoni is going to do with this, because this is a wild, wild case. Oh, this is very mixy. Marie says, yes, bitch, I knew that because I'm not a silly goose like you. Then we have Jeff saying free Penny McGee. We've got need to know is a 2. M says a 2. Yeah, see, I thought that was, oh, and look at this. Be kinder than necessary. Oh, JK, I had you, babe. She says 2, and I live in Norfolk County. Yep, here it is. So that is so interesting to me. I was like, Brookline is not. But then, like, babe, I Googled it. It is. So, and obviously, duh, Judge Cannoni is presiding over this. And I saw her with my own eyes. I saw her, Bob, and, you know, I've seen who it is. So she's a 58-year-old mother of 3. Penny McGee, right now, she's 58. So this must have been 5 years ago. She was 53 years old. And she is facing a manslaughter charge and 20 years in prison. Clutch your pearls, clench your buttholes. This is happening. She gets into, let me give more background. Judge Cannoni is presiding. She decided no jury trial. She only went for a bench trial. This incident occurred when? January 28th into January 29th of 2020. Oh, okay. Should we all stay home on January 28th and 29th? I don't know, but it's making me a little eye twitchy. So Penny is married at one point to Andrew Savitz, okay? And he was kind of like a big local guy. He helped our former governor, Mike Dukakis, run his 1988 presidential campaign. So they're yuppies to the max. The brothers got all the money in the world, and this is from Savitz's side of the family. And McGee was self-made on her own, okay? Penny McGee was a former VP at JP Morgan Chase. Queen, okay? And so there was an allegation that on January 28th, 2020, she goes over to her ex-husband's house, Andrew's house. And he was a 66-year-old male at the time, and his brother owned the house that Penny lived in after they had gotten a divorce. And he was evicting Penny from this house. And again, this was another house in Brookline. Big doings, big money. Old Tudor house. It was gorgeous. Melanie Little shared it on her screen, the house, because it was all public record. And they don't live there anymore. But it was a gorgeous old Tudor. You would be like, oh, that tracks. So, anyway, Brookline Police Department ends up classifying this incident that was called in 911 as domestic violence, and they didn't release any of the information to the public after this incident. Well, Penny and a family member who ends up being her child, her daughter, and the father was Andrew, her dad, and they give two different accounts of what happened. But the daughter said that she heard dad tell mom to leave the residence and saw mom slapping dad in the face. And then the daughter called 911. And at some point during the call, the dad fell to the ground. Okay. Dad is transported to BI and he passes away shortly after midnight on January 29th, 2020. The OCME, the medical examiner, the Office of Chief Medical Examiner in Massachusetts, has a lot to be left to be desired, guys. Okay. We know this. We know that the OCME has almost lost their accreditation, not once, not twice, but 3 times in the last little while. It's egregious. They have increased their budget by hundreds of %. This medical examiner made over 300,000 doll hairs last year. And P.S., they're still not following within the standard of practice for the autopsies to be completed by. There is a gold standard of care that they're not providing in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And we know this based on Enrique's case, and we know this based on several others. These medical examiners are doing 11% of their autopsies by chart review alone. I'm sorry. You're just reviewing a chart and not even looking at the individual who has passed away. That makes my skin crawl. And not like that's too big of a deal in some cases, but it is in others. And how are you to know unless you're going that extra step and seeing those bodies? It also offends me because Hank Brennan gets up and says, how could Dr. Marie Russell ever make an opinion based on a report, based on these, from Good Samaritan Hospital and from photos and images? The fucking Commonwealth does it 11% of the time. Okay, Hank? So I got a little something. It's right in my pocket. Okay. I just want it. Boop, there it is. Okay. Don't lose it now. So that's what I'm saying. So Rebecca Diedrich is the medical examiner in this case. She ends up doing the autopsy on January 30th of 2020. She rules that the victim had diabetes, type 2 diabetes, hypertensive, atherosclerotic, and valvular cardiovascular disease. Okay. Next, we find out that he also had a stroke just a few months before this incident that caused him significant deficits, including vision, which I guess there was some document that was like, oh, he's going to be getting PT and OT. And I was like, okay, PT and OT doesn't help with one's vision. So not sure how you thought that was going to work out, my friends, but I digress. Then the cause of death was ruled as a cardiac dysrhythmia following an altercation in a person with hypertensive and atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease and diabetes mellitus. Okay. So she is giving her take and she's on the stand now saying that this is a manslaughter. Manslaughter equals what? Any homicide, guys, is the death of one by another. That is what homicide is by definition. Okay. And the intent goes into manslaughter first or second degree, but it is at the hands of another that one's life is lost. So she is saying that she testifies her opinion is that the wife caused the death because he had a fear for his safety. He had imminent fear of his safety at some point. And I say, oh, okay. How does she know that? How does she know that? Because we can't ask the victim, and everything that is taken that is not like a bedside nursing or, that we're able to speak to a patient, we want to get we want to have subjective quotes from them, right? I put quotes in all the time. Patient said, "Go fuck yourself." Patient said, I am the president of the United States. Like whatever somebody is saying to you, absolutely put those in quotes. But her entire examination and her autopsy findings need to be objective, meaning that this is a finding that has no sway. It is just factually based. Okay. And what she said rocked my socks. My brain was spinning on the rings of Saturn. I was unwell listening to this woman give her testimony. She got rocked on cross. Like she did admit that it was her opinion. She said, "Well, that's my opinion that he was in fear, and that is why she is responsible for his death." However, there is another part that states from the 911 call that she was being dragged around the house and that she was potentially the one that could have been in fear. But my question is this, it's bigger than all of it, babes. It is so big because what this means is that God forbid you have an argument with someone you love, your husband, your wife, your partner. And if they're having organic disease processes in their body, that a police officer is able to write a report, and that in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, we know that this doctor, Dr. Rebecca Deirdrick, the ME, this pathologist, she is taking what they're saying as Bible because she is an arm of the Mass State Police. Hear me and hear me well. This has nothing to do with if she found or she did that autopsy and she didn't have that police report, this would have never been a homicide. Okay? I said it. I said it with my full chest, and I mean it. She was contacted by Mass State Police, and unlike Dr. Scortibello, who did give a little bit, but she would only go as far as to say there was no signs of altercation or fight. She refused to rule it a homicide of Officer John O'Keefe, first and foremost. And then she walked that back when she was on the stand. So, if you guys want to watch this trial, please go watch it with Melanie Little, attorney Melanie Little. She did an incredible job with all of it. And this is a case that really needs more attention. So I'll put Melanie, I'm sure all of you, listen, who am I? Okay. Like everyone is already subscribed to Melanie, but if you're not, and you happen to be the one person who isn't, I love you and go subscribe. Okay. So now what am I doing? Okay. So this was yesterday. And I just want to go over what this is Dr. Rebecca Diedrich. Okay. And this is what she had to say, and get ready to disassociate from your own body.
Comes death at the hands of another. A second person is involved in the situation. And it is a medical definition, not a legal definition.
I understand that. But the government is relying on you to make the connection of who's responsible for the precipitating event that resulted in a cardiac event. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
And so if Mr. Savage became belligerent and became angry and had a flood of hormones just because Miss McGee's in the same room,
But there was a witness.
he's responsible?
There is a witness who said that they were interacting with each other. This is not a situation where she was sitting in the room, not interacting with him. Therefore, there were two people involved in the discussion per the reports that are part of my decision, which indicates that there were two people involved, not just the decedent.
Is it your testimony also in your medical opinion that someone can have a quote vigorous verbal argument and that would sustain a finding of manner of death such as you've made in this case?
Yes.
Doesn't the literature that you've quoted so much talk about homicide and heart attack doesn't include just vigorous verbal argument?
Just watch that gulp, babe, because I was listening to this on the phone. Oh, am I on? God help us all. I was listening to this through like the call-in, right? The call-in number. And I clearly didn't ask Melanie if I could use her stream, so I'm just going to use what Court TV had. But this was wild to hear. And if you see the body language, that's what I love, right? That's what we love when we're watching trials, to be able to see what these people look like, because that's half the damn battle, is knowing, are you bullshitting or are you not? And that gulp she just took was for her life.
No, some of these documents do say that it can be
Show me
cured.
documents.
As we've discussed in the name guidelines on page 13, that paragraph
Oh,
28, deaths resulting from fear/fright induced by verbal assault.
okay. By verbal assault, the fear, but she can't assign fear to somebody who did not tell you. Any RN, and well, that wouldn't even, any doctor, any scientist, do you know a cellular level that will show fear, that an autopsy would be able to indicate what emotions or pheromones were released and or excreted throughout your fight or flight and your like central nervous system response? No.
And you mean that's just a verbal argument?
Yes.
Let me ask you this before I forget you.
Oh, she's
I'm
nervous.
going to give you a hypothetical.
Okay.
The two people, Mr. McGee and Mr. Savage, were having a discussion that escalated into a verbal argument. and Mr. Savage became belligerent. And assuming for the next fact that he told her to get out of the house, and he pushed her against the living room wall. And assuming the next fact, and hypothetical, he continued pushing her several times, pushing her into the adjacent kitchen dining room area. And for the next fact, for this hypothetical, he pushed her into the kitchen table, which resulted in several plates being knocked off the table and broke on the kitchen floor. The next fact, he then pushed her into the kitchen refrigerator, grabbed her by the hair, and began to push her down the hallway towards the front door.
I'm sorry, babes. I didn't realize this might be a trigger warning to anybody. So if this is difficult to listen to, just it's only 5 more minutes, okay?
And the final fact is, when they entered the front hallway, Mr. Savage fell and collapsed. Based on that hypothetical, is there your opinion then that the precipitating event that resulted in a cardiac event at issue
Oh, come on.
was not Mr. Savage's own anger and his own conduct and assaulting Miss McGee and pushing her
Oh, you're blinking.
into a wall and then pushing her into the kitchen and then pushing her into kitchen appliances and then pushing her down the hallway. And while he's pushing her and grabbing her hair, he collapses. Are you saying that it's still somehow she's responsible, she's the precipitating?
Yes, per the medical definition of homicide.
No.
And what I just gave you is a hypothetical. I'm going to show you. May I approach you? Yes.
This is where, okay, so this again was from yesterday, babes, but I just wanted to tell you that today she doubled down on this. And today she said, well, if the wife, if Penny was the victim in the DV circumstance, let's just say, okay, because, I wasn't there, you weren't there, we don't know. I think that the police know, but neither here nor there. We are learning here that even if Penny was the victim in this circumstance, this ME said it still would have been, by medical definition, homicide and blamed on Penny. And that is when my soul left my body, left the Milky Way, and I pirouetted, okay, to Nebula.
Brookline Police Report, starting at the bottom paragraph.
Yep.
That's the Brookline Police Report that you had in your file, correct?
And I apologize. Yes, I have read this. It has just.
All right. While she reads that back over there inside of the courtroom, let's bring in our trial attorneys who are watching this case with us, Marjorie Mesidor and Michael Jaffer, both trial attorneys who.
P.S. I hate Michael Jafar, okay, because he is Jafar from Aladdin. Let's see what he has to say.
This is an unusual one, guys. Michael Jaffer, they're asking about whether a verbal argument without anything physical can prompt a heart attack, and is that homicide? I don't know if I want to live in a world where if someone's on the phone and there's a verbal argument, or on the television and you get really mad at what they're saying. I mean, that seems to be the slippery slope that we're on.
It would be a terrible standard to set, a precedent to set, that, hey, if you argue with somebody and you create a hormonal imbalance in their body that causes them to die, that would be considered. I don't even think she would be responsible even if this was just a civil case, right? If this was a civil case, the standard's a lot lower. Was it a foreseeable part of your conduct? Would your conduct...
No one gives a shit what you think, Iago. Okay, let me get to a woman who actually has a clue. But I like to see that he is not blaming, at least in this case, he's not blaming Penny McGee which he does blame and says multiple times on another court TV appearance that he hates Karen Reed. Oh, okay.
Intentional killing by accident. Involuntary manslaughter requires that you be reckless. Was she reckless?
Okay, I don't need to play that. Sorry.
About him being upset, but
he
she
just
has
keeps talking. Give a girl a chance. Misogynist much?
Known could be reasonable, and he knew what the AC had in the.
Oh, is it all him? Okay.
Not like she was driving and distracting and ran somebody over. This is different. So I don't think that they're going to prove their case.
Marjorie Mesidor, what do you think? Because this clearly is not well.
I'm sorry, I can't stand him. But he just related it to Karen Reed. Of course he
Marjorie
did.
Mesidor, what do you think?
Oh my gosh, he's so
Distracting and ran somebody over. This is different. So I don't think that they're going to prove their case.
Marjorie Mesidor, what do you think?
Right,
Because this clearly is not well settled law. They are really getting into the nuts and bolts. This is a bench trial. Do you think the reason that they are getting so technical with this forensic pathologist, where I think they might lose a jury, but because it's the judge, they are spending a lot of time here?
No, absolutely. I think that was probably the best decision that the defendant could have made, is to have this seen by a judge as opposed to going before a jury, because the level of technicality and the precision and the nuance in this legal argument is really mind stretching, even for people like ourselves who, have the legal training. So really here, it's going to.
I respectfully disagree with this lovely lady. Ms. Marjorie Mesidor. I think that this could have absolutely gone to a jury trial, because this is fucking bananas. This is absolute bullshit. Any woman or any man in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts would clutch their own pearls and clench their own buttholes, thinking about how is this wife responsible. Don't give one shit how the verbal argument was, how it initiated, how it ended, anything. You are not responsible for a physiological change in another human being when you are having an emotional conversation, ever. And remind you, babes, he additionally had a stroke a couple of months before, and those deficits that you have on your cardiovascular system, on your respiratory system, everything is impacted by a stroke. Okay? So, for your final cause of death to be noted as a cardiac dysrhythmia following a verbal altercation in a person with hypertensive atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease and diabetes is an actual fuck you to residents of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. The end.
Turn on this issue of causation, whether the medical definition that the pathologist used to come to the conclusion that it was homicide by hand by another overlaps with the same legal definition of it being sufficient for causation. Is that temporal proximity is enough? If I have to guess, I'm going to say that it isn't. It's far too much of a slippery slope. Pre-existing health conditions,
yes.
Whether or not that she knew that this person had a heart condition before. There's so much there that is up for speculation. And being that it was not an extraordinary circumstance, just a simple argument, it might be too tough of a hill for the prosecution to overcome.
Yeah, a lot.
Agreed. Okay, I'm removing that, babes. And I just wanted to end it with that it was kind of devastating to see this young woman, right? This young lady, this daughter who lost her father, and now her mother's up for a manslaughter charge. It's devastating. I am so sorry for the family. This, is tragic. But I don't know if any of you have had weird SHIT happen in your families, but I have, okay? And my grampy ended up having a heart attack in 1987. I was a year old, and I don't recall, but, like, there was a familial situation that occurred, okay? It was, like, big doings at the time. My grampy had been married to another woman, and then he got a divorce, and then, like, my nana got, like, disowned by her family, and then he was Italian. It was a whole thing. He lived in Sicily. There was a whole situation. So he ends up there was family strain, and, um then he retires, and, like, he worked at a really good company, and he retires, and him and his sister and one of my uncles they get into, like, this big fight, and my grampy came into the back room at my nana's house, and he put his arm up on the doorway, and my nana wasn't talking to him because she was bullshit at him, and she was like, "What do you want?" And he was like, "Nothing, I'm looking at you." And then he went to go sit in his chair, in Grampy's chair, and he never woke up again. Like, and I'm not like, I mean, that makes me sad. That makes me really sad. And I don't know, I hope my mom, don't watch this. But, like, I think that we all have things that that has happened maybe in your families that is sad, and you look back on it and it's like, I wish I didn't say that. I wish I didn't do that. But can you imagine that being the last thing, and then you are blamed because you verbally got into it with somebody that you loved? You already live with that shit. You already live with your own guilt. And the Commonwealth thinks that they're going to take it a step further, and that they're going to send you to prison for 20 years. No. No. I'm not well over this. Yeah. And Lacey Ann says we've all had arguments as well. Yeah, absolutely. And I thought to myself in Melanie's stream when I was listening to it, I said, "Oh shit, I better not F with Mr. Nurse Kim. Better not raise my tone to that man. God forbid he kibbies." Right? And like, and that could be our problem. No, thank you. I mean, always, like, try to say, like, don't go to bed angry. Always, try to clear it up if you can. But at the end of the day, somebody having physiological manifestations within their own body, and then you turning it on a woman, that's causing her to have physiological changes. This has been 5 fucking years. Like, I don't know. I'm sorry, but I just was trying to relate it a little bit. Thank you, Toy. You get it. Yeah. Yep. Jody617 says it's victim blaming. I totally agree. I mean, and listen, I'm not one that I really love medical cases, right? Like, so this to me seemed like an egregious overstep of power, and that this was it looks to me, babes, like Mass State Police said what they said, and this medical examiner fell in line like so many of them do. And I'll tell you another thing is that Ed, oh, wait, I think I can do this. Maybe I can't. I don't know. Hold on. I'm going to try to do something. If you lose me, I love you and I apologize. Share this tab instead. Mm-hmm. Okie doke. Can I do this? And then I'm going to try to do this. Hold on, guys. I'm so sorry. Let me try to split it. Okay, I'm going to add this. And then I'm going to do this. I don't know if that makes sense. All right, I'm going to try to play this for you guys because this was something I played. I don't know, when did I post this? Okay, May 3rd of 2024. I posted, "Don't take my word for it. Take Norfolk DA Rick Grundy and former president of the Mass Bar Association Ed Ryan's words. This case is a horror show, and I could write a 3-credit course on criminal justice of what not to do. At minimum, Karen Reed was overcharged." Oh, I don't know if that's the one. Well, it must have been.
I think I agree with Rick that she shouldn't be talking outside the courthouse. But no, I don't think she's acting like a murderer. I think she's acting like somebody with some confidence. You know, this case is a horror show. I have never, in my almost 50 years of experience, seen a case where the police fouled up so bad. I
Yes.
could write a 3-credit course in criminal justice on what not to do. They didn't protect the crime scene permanently. There should have been protection for that alleged crime scene from the moment the first police arrived. Then we have the conflicts of interest, unaddressed. If I were the district attorney, that case would have gone to the attorney general the moment I heard about these conflicts.
Yep.
Because, you know, when you're preparing a case, that's great fodder in the crucible of cross-examination to destroy the credibility of a police investigation. But they've done a good job of that themselves. They take a statement, which they claim is a confession, an admission. I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. It doesn't make it into the police report. 7 witnesses, 3 hear it or 4 hear it, 3 don't hear it. Are you kidding?
Mhm.
That's the building blocks for reasonable doubt.
Yes,
But
it is.
The entire investigation really is
Problematic. Beyond problematic. A horror show is what you're calling it.
The first responders, the firemen,
There they are.
their job is to attend to the victim. They're not investigators. So whatever they think they heard her say, there was no follow-up. But you know what should have happened? She should have been interviewed on the spot by a police officer. Every one of those firefighters should have been interviewed by a police officer. And quite frankly, every interview should have been tape recorded, as opposed to a question is asked, an answer is given, and then it's filtered through the mind several days later of
Gotcha.
an investigating officer.
Let's take a look now.
Oh, darn, that wasn't it. Sorry, guys. I wanted to show you. Oh, what do I?
I think I agree with.
No, that's not it. I wanted to show you where Ed says that the Mass State Police, or no, that the Office of Chief Medical Examiner is an arm of the Mass State Police, and that he had been trying, as president of the Mass Bar Association, to get them to be their own investigating entity for 40 years. Oh, I'm sorry. For 40 years. Oh. So that is a big deal. And I think that more medical examiners than not. And I wonder where are you, Ted, Mr. Ted Daniel, my friend? Where are you? Where's Christina Rex? Where are you all looking and saying, why are these medical examiners not coming up with correct causes or manners of death? We have it in the Officer John O'Keefe case. We have it in the tragic case of Sandra Birchmore, where in 0 out of 100 cases of a partially suspended self-checkout, would there have been a fractured hyoid bone? 0. So that is my concern. Now we have this medical examiner who is saying, oh, yes, I agree with what the police said. I agree with what Brookline PD put together. And now we're going to say that this was a cardiac dysrhythmia following a verbal altercation in a person with hypertensive, atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease and diabetes. Fuck off. You're all full of shit up to your eyeballs, and we're going to find out. We're going to keep digging because that's not fair that people are being put and fighting for their lives, positions to fight for their lives because you're following suit and you are sheep with Mass State Police. You are in bed with Mass State Police, and that is fucked up. Pardon my French. I'm so sorry, but I'm worked up over this. You have been wrong on a public platform too many times for us to not say, now we need to do a random audit. Now we need to see how deep this actually goes. Because I know that the police and Mass State Police are supposed to be the fact finders, right? But at the end of the day, we still need the Office of Chief Medical Examiner to be an independent entity. They need to determine things in a vacuum, babes, not with outside influence. The body tells you. Yes, circumstances are appropriate. If this was a 20-year-old male, right, that had these findings, you'd say, "Well, what the frig was going on here? Like this there must have been like morbid obesity, sedentary lifestyle. I mean, was there an accident that caused him? I don't know, but I'm just saying there's so many different things that we have to look at. But in this specific case of a 66-year-old male with a recent stroke and 90% blocked arteries, get the actual fuck out of town. This is shameful, and I don't understand how it has occurred. I will pray tonight for the family. Okay, I will pray for the children. I will pray for Penny. I will pray for the Andrews family, everybody. But at the end of the day, I pray Judge Cannoni makes the correct decision. I pray that if they put a motion to dismiss, that she dismisses this immediately. Immediately. Pure insanity. Agreed. Oop. And Melanie Lewis says Emmy was full of SHIT. Yes, agreed. Okay, babes, let me just go through these. I'm so sorry. It's already 8:50. The doctor of the turtle of the boy will be on at 9. So I'm going to let you all go. I just want to say hello to our friends. Oh, it's Larry saying, you are muted and you're doing this on purpose. No, I'm just kidding. Leah, he says, I will use the muted time to add to my flavor and help you help yourself. That is true. That is true. You guys just, when I mute myself, I want you to meditate. Okay, potentially that could be something. When Kim is mute, we meditate because her big fucking flapping mouth is a little bit jarring to people's systems. So when I am mute, that is your time to say, do I really want to listen to her? I don't even know. Oh gosh. Who? And then Jen Lee said, 143, this is why you need a new mic. Jen Lee 143, I'm going to tell you this. You know what I need to do? And Mr. Nurse Kim told me this, and I was resistant. I was a petit de resistance. I've got to get the thing, this joop joop, right? That it's like joop joop, and then it's right there, and it lives on a, you know what I'm saying. This is a new mic, Jen Lee 143. Okay, this was an expensive mic. I am not. I don't know who I think I am. But Dave Cullinane told me to get this mic, and he said that it was a good mic, and I like the sound quality. I just need to put it on a branch, you know what I mean, from the desktop maybe, and then I can't screw it up, hopefully. And then Meatball Morrissey's Scatty Stains, Meatball Morrissey's Scatty Stains says, I don't really remember, but I will apologize for the rapping. I got carried away with this beautiful duct tape. Also, gifts for Keno include, yes, my fam grew up there, but Egmont Street, love Lars Anderson's. Oh my gosh. Thank you so very much. I appreciate that, Lovey. That means the world to me. I'll post a picture of Keno with his toys. And Kelly, formerly Gigabyte Me Bev, now If Chloe Bit You Must Have Quit, says, you are beautiful inside and out, and we love and value you so much. Stop it. I couldn't wait to hear your take on this because you are the smartest and prettiest of them all. Thanks for answering our Batman call. I got you, boo. And I can't wait to talk about this more. We will discuss this case further. And Mariah Cheyenne, my girl from Centerfolds, my Worcester's finest lover, says, who the F does Morrissey think he is? And add this mess to the list of indictments for himself and all his minions. Meatball, you fool, you're going to get what you give, God willing, from your lips to God's ear, Mariah Cheyenne. Okay? And Mama She 13 says, gifts a 999 says, I definitely think his family is connected to Meatball. Stop it. I want to know. I want to know if it is. And Lori 909 says, I think the ME is trying to get fame. You think this is the worst way you could do it, right? You don't want to look like a dink. Like, you want to look like a lot of things, but a dink on the stand? Not for me. Couldn't be me, babes. And KLM says, today, she said, if a person yells boo and the person had a heart attack, that's manslaughter. Okay. We're going to have to change. Hold, please. I'm going to just change this very quickly. We're going to do a little bit of, it's appropriate for us. You know what I need to do? Oh, I need to make sure that I even out my pencils right now. I am full-blown verklempt. I am unwell. And I'm going to need to rustle between 9 and 13 number 2s because I'm worked up over it. Boo. So are you telling me a small child goes, right? Small child goes dressed as, I don't know, Peter Pan. Don't make it weird. He's dressed as Peter Pan. He goes to the door of an elderly couple's home. He, instead of saying trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat, he goes boo because he's Peter Pan, right? And he found a shadow. Let's just say Harold had 99% blockages, and he goes and he tragically passes away. We're going to blame Peter fucking Pan? That's assault. I'll be looking fresh when them feds watching. You know what I'm saying? And then we have Genly 143 says 75% of Twitter would be dead if verbal assault is murder. Accurate. I would have been gone long ago. I would have just checked right out. Probably day 2. Day 2 of me on Twitter, someone said that I was that they posted that I was trans. They knew it, and that I should unalive myself. And I said, oh, I don't think that this should be a place that the world goes to. I also reported them. Okay. And then they got their account taken away forever because you're a bigoted hate crimer. Creep. And the Cat's Meow 617 just became a new YouTube member consensually. Thank you so much, Lovey. Poke around back there. See if you like it. If you don't, I get it. It's a little weird. And then Kim says, the deceased family have deep connections in Mass. Check out Olivia's post. Confidence. I think that's coincidence, but yes, me thinks not. Kim, I will do that, and I will give an update, and I will go over this again further at the end of the week, okay? Because I'm in. Like, babes, you know, once I get like a little, she's a little bit odd. Once I get onto something and I'm like, wait a minute, how? Wait a minute, why? Now I need to know everything, and I'm gonna. Thank you so much. And Robin G, member for 2 months consensually, says the ER nurses should be on the stand, not the doc. That's an amen. Amen. Hallelujah. Let's bring it back now, y'all. Yeah, absolutely. Every nurse, in my opinion, does a better job than, well, no, that don't say all, don't be in, black and white thinking, but most nurses who we remember our patients. There are doctors that they don't even recall. We could have patients at our practice for 2 years and I'll remember everything. I'll remember their children's names. I'll remember I don't know, that they had Eucharist from something on a cross in their house from Lent. And I'm thinking of all of this stuff, and the doctor will be like, wait, what? Who? And I'm like, okay. And then Mama She says, yes, Peter Pan is going down. And that's how we will end it tonight, my loves. Thank you so much for answering my FaceTime. I'm sorry that I had more technical issues than usual. It is 8:58. Dr. Turtleboy will be on at 9. I wish you an incredible rest of your night. I hope you have a good night's sleep. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. And also tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. if you're free, I would love to see you. And me, Meredith, the triplets, and Kino will be doing the half birthday stream for the triplets. And then Thursday night at 7:00 is me and attorney Nan Gallagher. First time that I'm going to have her on the show, and we will review the court day that is scheduled for Karen on Thursday and get into getting to know her and her takes on the medical aspects of Commonwealth v. Karen Reed. Bye, lovies. See you soon.